Hello, everyone. It has been quite a long time since I have, I'm looking to make sure my dog's not doing anything crazy. Okay, she's right there. Okay. Hello, everyone. It has been quite a long time since I have recorded anything for YouTube and stuff, but I'm hoping that I am back and giving you guys kind of weekly updates. These past 2 years now, I've tried getting back into this last school year, and there was a lot of things that happened. There was a lot of things that happened over the summer that I just mentally was not in a place to do that. And the same thing for the summer before. So let me give you guys a semi-quick rundown of things that have happened in my life personally, I guess, so that you guys can kind of understand where I've been and everything that's happened and all of the changes and stuff like that. So I kind of stopped recording around pandemic time. Back in 2019, and it was crazy. So schools got shut down, and in the midst of schools getting shut down, like right away, pretty much, I found out that I was pregnant, and so excited. We were trying for a baby for a very, very long time. And sadly, about a month later, still in the pandemic and everything, I miscarried. And in that time frame, I got a call from my district boss person, the person in charge of special ed for the district at the time. And he told me that I was not going back to the high school. So I think you guys saw, because I remember posting some videos of me setting up this classroom. So some of you know this, some of you don't, but he told me I wasn't going to go back to the high school. And so one, I was devastated with that. Then I miscarried my baby. And the day that I miscarried my baby, I found out that I was coming to the school. And it was really hard. It was really hard. And then like a month or so later, we got into a car accident. And then a few weeks after that, I found out that I was pregnant again. And I was absolutely terrified. And thankfully, we have, and I'll try to insert a picture up here or something. We have a beautiful little girl now from that pregnancy. And so it took us a long time and everything like that. And you've been following my journey and everything with student teaching and stuff like that. You know that like I had a really hard time with that. And so we have a beautiful little girl. Her name is Megan. She is 15 months old now. And she's everything. And then, so that first year while I was here, it was difficult, but in a different kind of way. It was difficult because I was having to come up with maternity plans, and I only took 4 weeks off because that was all I could literally afford to take because I am the main breadwinner of the family. And then it was also difficult because I had never had any experience whatsoever in the elementary resource setting. None of my student teaching was in the elementary setting for resource. I was never an aide in the elementary room for resource. I never had any idea truly of what elementary resource entailed. And so I was petrified. Thankfully, they put me with this wonderful, wonderful person who had over 20 years has over 20 years of experience, and I was able to learn so much from this amazing woman. Amazing. She is truly one of the best teachers I've ever met in my entire life. She is amazing, and she knows what she's doing, and she is here for the students, and she will do everything right by those kids. And I respect that, and I love that. I want to grow up to be like her. She is truly amazing. And however, she was pretty much forced out of her school as well at the same time. And so we both came into the school brand new to the school. She had all this experience in elementary resource. I had none. I was terrified. I was pregnant and terrified I was going to lose my baby at any moment. And so I really leaned on her to ask questions, and I was still scared to ask questions because I felt like I was a burden to people and everything. But I learned so much, and I told her this past year, I'm like, that was my first year ever doing elementary resource. And she goes, no, it wasn't. I'm like, yeah, it was. And she was shocked. But I'm open to learning and everything. And so the first year, like, I learned a ton. I ended up taking maternity leave. It was hard because I was pregnant. It was hard on my body. By the end, I couldn't even really walk. And so it was just, this pregnancy was very hard on my body. I ended up having to deliver my baby a month early because I had preeclampsia. My blood pressure was high throughout the entire pregnancy, and my doctors kept telling me that I needed to try to take time off of work and stuff, but I couldn't take time off, and I needed to relax and de-stress. And teaching is not a walk in the park unless you're talking about Jurassic Park. That's the kind of park this is. And so it was just really hard on my body and everything. But like I said, we have a beautiful girl to show for it. And so I'm truly, truly thankful. Then last summer happened, and my youngest son was actually, he was sexually abused by somebody who used to live by us. And they tried to turn it around and blame my son for everything. And so there was so much anxiety. I had a newborn baby, and I'm dealing with this in DCFS coming to my house and trying to figure everything out. And come to find out it was the other child who was abusing my son, and I have no ill will towards that child at all because what he did was a learned behavior, and that is sad. Like, that's what it is. That is sad because it is a learned behavior. But our housing was put in jeopardy because they took it to our housing management, and they looked at my son and they said if they see him outside without one of his parents, they were going to kick us out. And they put that responsibility on a 7-year-old boy. And that was not right. And so we were looking to move out of there, and we were, again, truly blessed. My father-in-law actually purchased a home for us, and so we're saving to buy the home off of him. But we now are in a house and in a safe location where I get to set those boundaries and those rules, and there's no fear for my kids of they're going to kick us out and stuff like that. And so that was one of the worst summers of my life, but with a pretty big blessing in the end as well. And then this past school year, my 3rd year teaching, I just need a normal school year, you guys. I just need a normal school year. Was the worst. It was the year from hell. And I don't want to get into too many details and stuff like that, but pretty much what happened was the school year started off pretty great and everything, and quickly it just turned it turned sour between me and my coworker, and we couldn't figure out why, but we weren't getting along, and it was devastating that we were not getting along. And we couldn't figure out why, and it got even to the point like my coworker yelled at me in the hallway in front of students and teachers and stuff, and I went home crying most days, and I couldn't understand. And the way that I kept telling my principal and people, and I'm like, I just don't understand how I became the villain in my hero's eyes. I could not see what was going on. It even got to the point, because we share a classroom. I ended up moving out of the classroom and teaching all of my groups in our conference room or in our counselor's office, because I wanted to just give her space, and I wanted things to be resolved, and like when she's ready she'll come to me, when she's ready she'll come to me, and because I didn't want to engage and have any hurt feelings and things like that. And I just kept being told that things were being said by somebody, and it was a lot of things were devastating. I eventually wrote a 4-page letter to HR about what was going on, because I was instructed to do so. And I felt like I was betraying my hero doing that, and it was devastating. That was devastating as well. And it was just taking a lot of, it was very mentally taxing. It was taking a huge toll on my mental health. When I would get really anxious, I would start scratching myself, and I didn't even know that I was doing that. And I started disassociating. I ended up dealing with a lot, to the point where now I am training a service dog to come to work with me, because it opened a whole can of worms that cannot be put back in, and that's heartbreaking. But I am truly blessed to have a little, she's chewing on her little bone, but, oh, sorry, girl. This is Poppy, and she's being trained to be my service dog, and she will be coming to school with me, to help me not disassociate, and to help me not self-harm, and it's not self-harm because I know I'm doing, I don't know I'm doing it. And she is absolutely perfect. I absolutely love her. And this was a whole, I'll have to tell that story later, but that was a whole different story. By the end of the school year, probably a month before the school year ended, things came truly to a head. And we had a parent come in pretty much threatening to sue, and they were threatening to even sue me, even though I was not over their child anymore. Earlier in the year, they asked to switch case managers and everything, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, but I was just letting it happen. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and things. It turns out that the aide that we had working with that child was gaslighting the parents, was gaslighting me, was gaslighting my coworker, and turned this room and almost the entire school into a very toxic environment. As soon as we realized what was going on, because when this parent came in, I sat down with my coworker, because we had to rearrange all of the aid schedules to get this aide not working with this child anymore, and I was the one that I did the aid schedule, because my brain, I can see scheduling, and it's not easy, but it's easier for me. And my coworker just leaned over and put her hand on my hand and goes, I know it's not you. And I broke down just crying, and I told her everything that was going on this year. And I told her that I wrote the letter to HR, and I pulled up the letter to HR and I had her read it, and we were just bawling and crying. That aide ended up quitting the Monday after. This was on a Friday. She quit the Monday after, right before she was going to be let go, honestly. But all of the damage had been done. It had all been done. And so they have removed my coworker from the school and moved her to a different school, and now another teacher is coming in. I don't know her very well yet and everything, and I'm holding off everything until I get to know her. It's just really hard because I am having just a hard time trusting people at this point. And so to get somebody new to come in after we fixed everything and we are the best of friends again, like, it's really hard because I begged them not to move her. And they kept telling us, well, we don't know what's going on. They knew exactly what was going on. They knew. They just wouldn't tell us. And so it was hard. It was really hard, and it's still hard. I have nightmares about next school year, and it's not anyone's fault or anything like that, but it comes with the territory of my mental illness, because I have been diagnosed with complex PTSD for a bunch of things, not just this past school year, but a bunch of different things. And so like I said, there's been a lot that has prevented me from getting in front of this camera and actually recording things, but I am so excited to get back here and to show you guys the teaching life again. I'm hoping to have at least one video a week, and what I'm really hoping to kind of transition this into is a podcast kind of thing. So I'll record and I'll end up actually taking the sound and trying to create an actual podcast in different locations, and having it also here on YouTube as well, where you can actually see things. I'm really hoping that eventually I can get some people in here to interview about teaching and the different walks of life with teaching and stuff like that. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm thinking my first series for this podcast is just going to be with myself, and if you end up seeing me in my laundry room, that's my office. Eventually I'll get it, a little bit more presentable, but I kind of want to do a series on special education law to help parents know how to advocate and let teachers better know how to advocate for their students, and stuff like that. And I'm going to our special ed law conference in a few weeks. I went last year, but I kind of want to take the Utah procedural safeguards, and they're not the same across the whole country or anything, but a lot of the main points are the same across the country. So you can take this, and you can go find your state's procedural safeguards, and you can get more details about that. But I really kind of want to break down section by section and go over what it all means and what it means for you as a teacher, for you as a parent, for you as even a student, if you're in that higher education world of high school and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and I think that's going to be my first series. And I want, like I said, at least one video every week. So this is my first week of July. I'm back, and I am excited to be back. And I'm actually going to let you guys go because I'm here at the school, obviously, because I am teaching summer school for a resource, and I have a student coming in any minute. So I will talk to you guys later, and I will see you guys next week. And like I said, I think we're going to get started on our first series, which is going to just talk about special ed law. So I will see you all there. Bye.